I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. Mm-mm. There we go. Yeah, that's about right. What I say, I I was in the cart the entire time, so give it a kiss, moi. God, it's the night rain. No, the night rain. Mm. Get the bad juju. Eh. It seems like a normal Tuesday to me. All right. Nope, just soured. No soap. Hmm. I'm just, or Sabbath is just gonna kind of walk out, dust off his cloak, and pay no regards to the driver. Damn. Wait, but d- didn't you get a crit as well, though? It was one of you two did. Hmm. So they vibrate. Mm. Hmm. Oh, Yeah, I saw that 4 and I was thinking, oh no. 13's a good one. But what if it was? You monster. That's what I was gonna do. Jesus. No, you won't. You have your own 2. You don't need 3. Jesus Christ. Uh, okay. Hmm. Jesus. Uh, yes. Mm. Sabbath would just meticulously walk up and down each aisle of it. Anything that would be out of the ordinary. 6. Hmm. There we go. I don't think that's exactly what happened. Don't look in a mirror then. 18. Hmm. Uh, yeah, Sabbath would definitely have a hand on a dagger hilt. Part of me thinks this is a bad idea, but I have a feeling this is something that Sabbath would do. He's going to Eldritch Blast in the direction of the noise. Just in the general direction. It's the thought of possibly scaring out whatever was there. Rat bastard. It's raining papers. Hallelujah, it's a rain in papers. Did not yet. Wow. Facts. All I gotta say is stealth mission complete. Those are names. No, that's not worth the time. Jesus. Hey, Zion the Potato, thanks for the follow. And there's a distinct possibility you might. Jesus. Uh, Jesus. Um, oh, I actually can't remember when he says "whoa." Uh, yes. Uh, mute myself so then that way I'm not talking over her. This is a horror campaign, and Crankhandle is looking for the daughter of the man who created him. Then Gray is a monstrous barbarian. He's wanting to kind of keep his race under wraps at the moment. Who has been traveling with uh, Ray Wolf here, who is a tiefling bard who is able to hear voices from the dead, but not that guy. We can all hear him, unfortunately. And that's essentially what all we've gotten to right now. Yes, essentially that. Uh, Hmm. Eh, it's possible. Jesus. Jesus. Fuck's sakes. Jesus. Yeah. I'm not a bard, so I can't flirt with the muscle mommy orc. It can always be a little funny, depending on what happens. I was about to say, if this motherfucker says he hates Mondays, I'm gonna start blasting. As I said, if he starts saying that he hates Mondays, I'm gonna start blasting. That's even worse. I might just start blasting anyway. I have Eldritch Blast. I can start blasting if I wanna. Just hop on D&D Beyond. You get all the dice there. It really runs 6? That's atrocious. That's so gross. Hmm. I still can't believe it ran that many ads. We use Gray as a bloodhound.
But I don't think he knows the word for cell, so he probably just says cage.
I so love OBS. It is a wonderful program.
Yeah, just cold cage. Cry.
Okay. That makes so much more sense on why you were lost.
So, well, thank you for telling me, Gray. Um, and Cranky's gonna stand back a little bit and stand up straight, and he'll kind of do a thing where he flexes his fingers and then on both of his hands, and then kind of curls them back into fists with a tight clicking of gears. He's going to nod firmly to himself and uh, uh, he's set. He's set for the next step.
Are you okay? Is there anything else you three would like to do while you were in the inn?
Three or four.
Three. You two have been having the conversation. I'm talking.
Oh, right.
Jaden, Drew, and the captain.
I think Giuseppe would have been like very patiently listening to Crankhandle's plight, kind of just like solemn nods. And then when it was very clear that he had gotten all the information he wanted, I'd be like, "All right, so have you seen two clerics roll through here?"
The Tabaxi would be like, "Oh yeah, I saw him. They came through. They were supposed to help us."
Supposed to. Did nothing came of that? Did they just disappear like everyone else around here, or?
Well, kind of a long story. You see, we was hoping that the count up on top of the mountain would have some answers and be able to help us. So some of the townsfolk went to ask him for help, and they never came back. Like the actual innkeeper. I'm not the innkeeper. I'm the cook. But the innkeeper Galrog, he went missing. Up with them clerics along with a couple other people from town.
Where?
Same mountain pass that everyone takes. It's the only way up there.
Can you tell me anything about the Count?
Well, he's kind of kept to himself for the past however long I've been alive. The only person I know who probably has even seen him would be the librarian, but he's a little old, if you catch my drift.
I think Giuseppe's probably older.
Age ain't nothing but a number.
Depends on the race.
He's literally a skeleton. I have to imagine it's been a while.
If he was a person that could, be like maybe 150 years,
I mean, that's
while
fair, yeah.
there are elves who can live up to 300.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I once knew an elf that lived 4 years.
Wow.
So they were a child when they died.
Yeah, it was awful.
Mm.
Perfect delivery.
Oh, now. You're getting banned.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Dealing with no
Is there any like? Do I
fake things.
hear any guests upstairs, or even smell anyone else in the
Give me
inn?
another perception. Perception.
I know this is probably going to be very common, but animal instinct. I feel like he's sniffing just about everywhere he goes.
Mm-hmm.
hey, don't sniff down there.
17.
There.
Bad
No, he
Giuseppe,
already smelled
bad.
that about a day ago.
Ew. There appears to be no one else in this inn.
Okay. He mostly just wondered if maybe there could have been someone eavesdropping or something theoretically, but
It is silent, except for sick.
meat.
You want food?
Eh.
I fix you up some. And he'll kind of like.
Before he walks away, I'm gonna pull that drawing. I scrawled of the image I saw in my mind, the diamond with the eye, and be like, "Does this mean anything to you?"
I don't think so.
No worries, no worries. Thank you.
Sorry. Memento places some copper on the counter. Drink? Yeah, I'll get you some too. And he'll go and be like, "What do you want? Ale? I got some ale left. Not a whole lot. Supplies have been running low, so we don't get shipments anymore."
I think this one would want a Shirley Temple. Oh.
Yeah, we might have to.
Medieval equivalent.
He'll kind of waddle to the back room, and he'll come back with a cup of mead and a piece of stale bread. Set him on the counter.
Gray just kind of looks at the bread, slightly disappointed, and just places one of the copper down and pushes it over to Jaden. He did explicitly say meat. I don't think he necessarily expected it, smelling everything that's like in this sort of weird state of decay, but yeah, stale bread is not exactly what he was looking for.
Memento drinks the mead. It's very bad. Like, this mead tastes awful, but it's literally all these people have.
They call it meat, but there was no honey involved.
Memento doesn't mind much, given she's a street rat. Fair point, fair point.
What?
Memento says, "Better than gutter water," Memento think. I'd say it's a little bit better than gutter water. Not
Mister,
by
if
much.
you're gonna advertise for this place, I think that should be your tagline.
Well,
Try
if
our
it's got-
mead.
voice.
It's better than gutter water.
if it's got alcohol in it, then it's already been disinfected. So yeah.
Try our new better than gutter water, now with less tetanus.
Less, not none.
Warning: Stay milk contain. Bleh, still may contain botulism.
All right. Are there any other questions about the inn or for the innkeeper?
Not for me, at least.
Memento finishes her mead and plays a small, happy tune on her viol. Yeah, we don't hear much music around here anymore.
Okay.
Memento says, "Music always needed." Yeah, that's true. All right.
Mr. the Tavern Keeper, would you point me in the direction of that librarian?
Yeah, so the library is going to be the last building standing on the north side of town, closest to the trail.
Thank you, sir.
My last
welcome.
standing is you mean the building at the end of the row, or the last one literally standing in that part of town?
The last one literally standing.
Oh, okay. That's
Roll up, it's got
something.
its Duke still up.
so you head to the library?
I'm
Yeah,
off to the
Crank being-
library.
At least a little bit curious. Crank's gonna follow him.
Okay, you head to the
Yeah.
library.
Oh.
There you see a big building, almost as big as the church. However, it appears to be just not in good shape. It's not falling apart like the other buildings should be, but it's just rough. It's rough. You go
All right.
inside.
Nobody lean on any load-bearing walls.
Yeah, so I was gonna say it's probably not safe to be alone in this town.
Yeah.
You go inside, and there is just rows of books. Surprisingly nicely organized. A lot of them are worn, tattered, and old, though. And you see behind the counter a very, very old gnomish man. And he appears to be reading a book. He's all hunched over.
Gray kind of like taps Jaden's shoulder, points at him, points at the auto gnome, and is just like pointing at the two of them. Like, wait.
Memento nods.
I'm just gonna okay.
Howdy, old timer. What you reading?
Oh, you're cut out.
Page. He just kind of like flips the page.
Howdy, old timer. What you reading?
Yes, who's there?
It's me, Death.
It's about goddamn time you came for me.
Oh, I ain't coming for you unless you work a little harder. Wink, wink. Sorry, Memento.
Oh dear lord.
Even Giuseppe's aware that he's already gotten off on the wrong foot with this.
Bruh.
Crank here. Crank's gonna go up and
Memento.
introduce himself in Nomish.
Memento says, that make Memento devil? Oh my god. Okay. So, he will look at you very happily and respond. What did you say?
I'm basically just introducing myself.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a bot in my chat. Can't remember how to do it.
There's
I-
a bot in my chat.
I banned them
There's a bot
already.
in my chat. Huh?
I banned them already.
In mine?
It- Yeah, at least on my end, it shows the message gone that I banned them.
Okay.
You do it from the stream manager.
Yeah, I'm in it, but it's okay. You know what? We'll worry about it later. We'll worry about it later. Okay. He will introduce himself. He will just be like, I'm Raga Books. I am a librarian here in the. How can I help
Okay. Well, my friend here has some questions about something, and I was also wondering if you'd seen a young Nomish girl in town. Other people have, and I'd just like to be able to learn as much as I can.
you? Unwashed girl. I believe she was here quite recently. And he'll just kind of scratch his head. He appears to be confusing himself.
Excellent.
Well, that's all right. You can think on it a while. In the meantime, my skinny friend here, I believe, has something to ask, and I'll turn to Giuseppe.
Thanks, Crank. I appreciate you pulling that one.
Damn it.
gives him a very like friendly like elbow. Like, man, this guy's really looking out. Yeah. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that count at the top of the hill. Heard you are one of the last people who's ever even seen him.
Yes, Count Renwick. What a fine young, oh, very upstanding citizen. He he stays up in his castle most of the time nowadays. I believe some sort of tragedy befell his family, and he has been up there ever since.
Do you by chance know what that great tragedy was? Was it a plague or
I
some kind
believe
of
he
beast?
lost a loved one.
Mm-mm. And then, by chance, did you meet the two clerics that came through here?
Ah, yes, wonderful women, wonderful women. So sweet, so kind.
Did they by chance talk about what they plan to do to help remedy your missing person situation here?
Well, they said that they would go up and talk to the Count. I told them it was no point. We we are just waiting on formalities right now, I believe. They will step in and save us. Do not worry, young one.
Were the letters dated?
Yes.
How long ago were they written?
So the letter that told of their arrival said that they would be here probably a week or two before you show up.
Okay, so it hasn't been, it's not like senality and this guy's like, oh, it happened yesterday and it was 30
I was getting
years
that
ago.
same vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not
That-
just you. I was
yeah.
getting that same vibe. I was like, oh shit, wait, maybe this was a while ago.
Time to gauge the dementia on old boy.
No, it's
Scale of
only
1 to
been a
10.
It's only been
Oh,
a
okay,
couple
cool. Just sounds weird.
months.
Sounds more lost than he is.
Right on. Last question. You're a well-learned man, being a librarian. Would you by chance know why Inkabalus would be interested in your town?
What would that have to do with anything?
Just curiosity. Morbid curiosity.
That's a name I don't hear about very often. And he'll kind of like get off of the chair that he's sitting in, which is a very high stool with a little ladder next to it. And he'll kind of walk around the counter, and he's even shorter than Crank Handle. This guy is so tiny and frail. He walks over to a certain section and he grabs a couple books and brings them down, and he's just like, well, I believe that he is the Lord of Nightmares, if I'm correct, but I don't see why he would want anything to do with our quaint little village.
Yeah, I can also kind of searching for motivations here, but appreciate that you do know what I'm talking about. Does feel like we're on the right track.
Yeah.
Would you mind if I borrowed these books?
Oh, go right ahead. Not like any. Yeah, anyway. No one ever visits me.
I go in for a hug.
You hug him. He only comes up to like your knee.
uh,
Good
they're
God,
there,
is he
they're
only like
there.
a foot tall?
He's tiny.
Yeah, like
I'm
a foot
gonna-
tall.
Yeah, he like comes up like his chest is about his knee.
So if the gnome's chest is about Giuseppe's knee, then he's 2-ish feet tall, which is short but normal for a gnome.
Okay, I was thinking like top of the head to Giuseppe's knee.
No. Like he's hugging his knee right now.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Memento uses prestidigitation and conjures a flower for the old gnome. And he'll look at it and go, "Thank you, young man. I appreciate this so much. It's beautiful." And he'll kind of like shuffle his way back to the counter. And he'll climb his little ladder.
While this was going on,
Crank,
Gray was probably
out of
poking at books. He's probably just walking through, poking at books, making sure they're not alive.
They're not.
But go
They're
ahead.
fine.
Nathan.
They're books. Alright, what was it, Crank Handle?
Crank, out of a bit of nomish solidarity, did we ever get the librarian's name yet?
Yeah,
Just
Ragabooks.
Yes. Books. Okay. Just write that down so I don't forget. Crank's gonna ask if he's got any family or clan members still in extant that he'd like to be informed of him, I suppose.
Oh
'Cause
no,
he seems
I'm the
pretty
last
lonely.
one left. Unfortunately, I never married. I was the youngest of my brothers.
So Crank's gonna have a moment of serious thought here, and well, sir, perhaps this is bold of me to ask, but do you have any sort of mementos or family history, or whatever, that you'd like preserved? I can take them for you. My family has a nice house. We can certainly preserve them.
And he'll fall
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, do they have one of her? Yeah, does your family have one of her?
Alright.
We see a doppelganger crawl out of the ground.
Yeah, the old man has fallen asleep. In the
Okay,
middle of
Sweet
thought,
prince, tender kiss on the head.
out.
That's okay. Maybe we'll come by later and see if he's cool.
Yeah. He is out cold. But Giuseppe has some books now.
Knowledge!
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Reading is the key.
Reading is the key.
that is for the ones who know.
I know.
If you know, you know.
Oh my god. Okay. Alright. I assume you guys exit the library, or would you like to explore it?
Gray probably comes out of the stacks holding a book upside down, trying to make sense of the letters, but is not quite sure how this works.
I'm going to tell you right now. I imagine the scene at the beginning of Beauty and the Beast where Gaston is looking at the book, but
Yeah.
photoshopping Gray
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Having a thought, Crank is gonna take a look-see and see if there's any books on the town's history.
Yeah. In the back there is a small section that's like genealogy, family histories, and there is some stuff about the town.
So I guess, how big is the book on genealogies? I'll ask.
The genealogy book is fairly big, but the town history one, well, okay, they're both fairly big books, but
Mhm.
one of them is more of just like a list of names, and the other one is like the actual history of the town.
Giuseppe,
Yes.
this seems to be perhaps more your wheelhouse, and I'll show him the genealogy and the history.
Oh, yeah. 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 Would I be able to like help him pour through it?
Yeah.
I would do this.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
I would ask
Um,
that of Crank Handle.
Well, obviously, something rather terrible has happened, so I didn't know if they'd have like perhaps events leading up to that recorded or any important names associated with it or anything.
That makes sense, yeah. So like a record of the events leading up to this calamity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should...
Make an
yes.
investigation check. Either both of you roll individually or one of you with advantage.
Wrong way.
Battle of the Brains.
Investigation.
Gray, fed up with the
Um,
book, probably just closes it and tosses it behind him.
Not going to check the flavor.
Hey, put that back. You can respect his work. He says to
He
Gray.
looks over at the disheveled bookshelf. I'm assuming there's probably books on the ground, possibly. I don't know how disheveled this place is.
They're not on the ground. It's very organized. It's just like old and starting to fall apart. Need some repairs.
Old,
Ah.
cold, and covered
Gray
in
would
mold.
probably be shamed in that moment then and grab it, look at it, look at the shelf, and just kind of place it flat on it, not in any kind of order. He doesn't understand how these kinds of things are ordered, so he probably just sets it back on the shelf flat in not the same spot.
That works for Crank. You know, you got to respect the elders, your elders, and their work. Okay, so I guess speaking of rolls, I've got investigation at +3, if that makes a difference.
Mhm.
That's what I got, so I'll just give you the advantage.
Okay. I got
Ooh.
two 15s at 18.
Oh, nice.
Huh.
2 15s in a row.
Very
Right
nice.
on.
Yeah. So
should
in
get a
this
little bit
history
of-
book, it starts about 3 centuries ago. And well, actually, take that back. It starts much longer than that. Mostly just around the time that the castle was built, so was the village. But then about 3 centuries ago, you see a familiar name, Count Renwick, and it goes through the history of his ruling, and then it stops about 150 years ago.
The record just stops.
Just stop.
Oh, well, that's possibly not good. And make sure to point this out to Giuseppe, especially the count in 300 years ago.
Are we able to tell who was the author, the one that was like keeping the log most recently?
There is no name. There's just like a change in handwritings.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
Crank's gonna go over to the genealogy book and cross-reference with the count and see if we can learn more about his family, possibly.
Yeah. So you'll see when you open the genealogy book, it's mostly, of course, more royals, stuff like that. But you do see the last name of Renwick tracing back over 1,000 years.
Hmm.
You can tell it's the same name, however, there's different like variations of it, like slightly different spellings, just how names evolve over time.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually you get to Corim Renwick and Pyria Renwick and their son Gleneth Renwick.
Does it
Well,
have
Lenny
anything
fucked up.
on? Does it have anything on like how they lived their life, possibly how they died, or anything like that?
There's only dates in this book. It says that Pyria died the same day that Gleneth was born,
Oh, that's
and
sad and unfortunate.
the father died not too long after. Corim?
So, if they all died, some, I guess, a century and a half ago.
Yep. 300 years closer.
What?
The Gleneth Renwick, you can assume is the current count because he's where it stopped.
Okay. So he's.
And he was born roughly 300 years ago.
Huh. Well, this certainly seems to be a bit of a puzzle here.
Yes.
Okay. So what is the last mentioned event in the history?
In the history of the town,
Yes.
all it says is abandon all hope. Scrawled out on the last page that has any writing on
Hmm.
On the wall of the library, it says top bestseller Dante's Inferno.
it.
Well, while that's certainly meaningful and a little ominous, that doesn't really help us. What does the next to last entry say?
um, it talks about Ragabuck's taking over as the librarian, and it talks about a shipment of apples arriving late. And that is the most exciting thing up in this town.
Huh. Well, it was worth the shot at least, and we got some names. I don't know if that helps you with anything. Speaking to Giuseppe.
It helps to know that the name Renwick has been around as long as it has.
Yeah,
Kind of
I mean,
points to something. Yeah.
That's at least as old as some of the old families in Baldur's Gate.
Ah,
Yeah.
Cat Breeze.
There are lots of things that can let people live long lives or have long reigns, but thousands of years, that takes some real effort to keep a name around that long.
Hmm.
At a game, though, I gotta say that cat has probably one of the flickiest, most whip-like tails I think I've
She
seen.
does. She
I
just
love it
smacks me
personally
with
because I love
constantly.
expressive tails, but like it looks like it's a little bit annoying. But yeah, it's just like the whippiest one I've seen.
She also makes the most aggressive biscuits on the planet.
Oh.
Hurt.
Well, now.
But continue. Sorry.
So, I believe it's all we're gonna find out here. So, Crank's gonna turn around and leave. He's gonna make sure that Ragabook is comfortable there at his desk before he leaves, and just kind of head on out the door.
He's like, he's not leaning over his desk. He's literally like leaning back in his chair with his head tilted back, snoring. He's doing the old man in his chair sleep.
I was about to say that's the old grandpa.
Well, so long as he's okay with it, then yeah, we'll just leave him be.
Grandpa, don't go leaving anyone a farm anytime soon. I will follow Crank Handle.
Okay. You leave the library, Crank Handle?
Yeah, I'll follow along.
Okay. So you leave the library, and you are left in the town. Off to the right, cemetery, and off to the left is the rest of town.
Do we happen to like? Because you said we can see the mountains earlier.
Mhm.
Do we see like a big castle in them, or is it too like distant or like within the mountains to see it?
From what you can tell, the trail kind of goes up, but it's really hard to see any structures just because there's mountains. It might be kind of hidden behind them or on the other
Gotcha.
side of them.
That's what I was assuming because you hadn't explicitly said the castle was there, but
Yeah.
you said it was relatively nearby, so I was just curious.
Yeah.
Do I smell anything coming from the cemetery?
Make a perception.
Dirty 20.
Nice. Smell a lot of rotting flesh.
Like freshly rotting?
All types of rotting.
It feels oxymoronic.
I mean, that's fair.
Well, presumably, if it's a well-kept cemetery, then every body's going to be buried, and it wouldn't presumably smell very much like rotting anything. There's like a lot of dirt.
Yeah, he probably like snarls a little bit when he catches the whiff of that and kind of growls a little bit in the direction of it.
Yeah. If you look over at the cemetery, you'll see there's newer graves, but they haven't been unturned. And then there's lines of bodies under sheet from what you can see.
So they're lying there to be put in, but they haven't. Bleh.
Yes.
Hmm. Well, I don't believe that's how you're supposed to handle the honored dead. At the same time, I don't know if we need to go over there and look or not. And kind of to the party at large.
I don't mind investigating the dead bodies as a dead man.
That tracks.
So I might
Maybe find a
go
friend.
do a precursory investigation to see whether or not the squad even needs to come over here to do everyone's noses a flavor.
Memento looks at the cemetery, looking a bit more wary about freshly dead people. About being near freshly dead people.
So Crank doesn't smell because he doesn't have a functioning nose. So he'll follow at least a little bit behind Giuseppe.
Okay. Memento says, always complain most when fresh dead. Giuseppe, you go up to the bodies?
Yeah,
How would
I'd
you
like
like
to.
to investigate them? Roll for me.
Would I want that roll to be? You say?
No, how would you
What?
like to investigate, and would you please roll for me?
Yes. Let me find the thing. So it's like a. You're saying it's a pile of dead bodies, or are they kind of like lined up?
They're kind of lined up.
Okay. Probably get down so I was close enough to be able to see what's. If I'm able to discern what the cause is, and like the state of decay, like how long has it been dead?
Okay. They are covered in sheets too, so you'll have to remove the sheet.
I'll take. I will carefully pull back the sheet on one of them.
Okay.
I'll be respectful with it.
Okay. And
Uh,
roll?
you said investigation.
Yes.
That is
Or
an 18.
medical, whichever one is higher.
Let's go investigation. It's by a hair, but it's enough that I'd like the point.
All right.
Yeah, 18.
So you could tell this was a tiefling at one point. However, the body has been rotting for appears to be a while. It also appears that something has been eating it. Perhaps
Can I
before
tell
they found the
what is
like
eating?
perhaps. Oh, you want to tell what's eating? Make a nature check, I guess.
Okay.
See- Yeah.
Nature. How's
Early
14
Noah.
sound?
A 14. So you see strange teeth marks. It's almost as if the jaw perfectly round, full of razor sharp that go all around the middle of the mouth. And there are rows of them as well. Have you seen a cookie cutter shark fight before?
I have not.
Or maybe a lamp. You know what a lamprey mouth looks like?
You said
I'm
what kind of
looking-
shark?
Cookie cutter.
Oh God, that is. I hate that. I God abandoned a handful of his creatures, and that's surely one
That's
of them.
one of them. Yep.
That is.
I would love to post one in chat, but I don't want to disturb people who've never seen one before because they can be a lot.
Yeah, that is a
little bit
that is a
creepy.
creature that was abandoned by our Lord Jesus Christ Savior. Okay, so I would kind of to the group at large say, all right, this is a tiefling. It looks like it's been chewed on and eaten a degree by something with, and describe what you described. Does that sound like a beast any of you are familiar with?
What kind of roll?
Nature.
Holy shit!
no.
I got a 17
17?
or 18.
18, nice.
18
I hate
total.
that
Yeah.
There is intelligence sometimes.
Crank
12.
actually used to wrestle those for sport.
Memento
or
views
more.
lower and has no quills around her leg. No fan of kind dead. Yes. Sorry, forgot to read that out. Sabbath and Memento, would you like to roll if you know the creature?
I got a 2.
2, nice.
I don't know shit about this thing.
Yeah, nature check.
Ooh.
Unless you think it's your parents' fault, then it's a nurture check.
Nat 20. Oh my
Holy crap.
god. Okay. Yeah, you have seen this exact thing.
Oh.
In your journeys through the darkest forest that you have ever been to, you know of a creature with long, rubbery arms and legs with just horrendous looking hands that are covered in spikes and mouths that are perfectly round, filled with teeth. It has an alien looking appearance with a large, elongated head. Though you cannot place the name, you know exactly what this creature looks like.
Is that for both of us or just for Memento?
Memento would know all of that. You would recognize the bite marks, something that lives in the darkest forest. And you would also both know that this is an aberration of some sort.
I can't metagame. I can't.
No, no metagaming. No metagaming.
No, I know, but this is. I'm pretty sure this is a creature that I've liked since I was a kid, just because of the design and everything. But it's one that's also super creepy and dark. Yeah.
Memento shudders. The fluid in the pendant around her neck turns solid ice.
Well, I can't quite recall the name off the top of my head, but this is the sort of creature that lives deep in the dark forest, and it's one you really don't want to come across. My master was a smart man, and he also meant he knew. It also meant that he knew what not to tangle with, and I don't think this is something we want to find in a dark alley.
Memento says, well, this is going to be awful. Her mood is much less bright, spunky.
Do you think this would look more like a skinny guy or a slender man?
Oh my god.
Any hoozles. I would put the sheep back over the tiefling having examined her.
Okay.
Did I get a gauge on how long this tiefling's been dead? Based on my
It's,
familiarity with decomposition?
it's a little hard to tell just because it's been so eaten away.
Yep.
Probably a few weeks.
Okay.
I think Gray probably grabs a small piece of jerky that had been in his little ration pack. It's probably all loose in there. It's not organized. But he grabs out a small piece of jerky and kind of taps Val on the shoulder and offers it to her as a sort of treat to maybe uplift the mood a little.
Comfort eating, you say?
A little pocket lint never hurt nobody.
Mash, why do you keep cream puffs in your pockets?
So having identified it, Crank's gonna give the area a thorough scan just to make sure it's not creeping up on us or something, and possibly find out where it's been.
Yeah, really quick. Memento says he looks a bit queasy at the sight of the dried meat, especially after seeing the dead tiefling.
Yeah, he kind of pulls it away and puts it back in the pocket awkwardly.
Reminds me of a mummy I once ate.
Wait, is Giuseppe from Victorian England?
You don't know.
Hidden lore.
And Crank's gonna ignore that comment and keep looking.
Yeah. Make. I want an investigation. Let's go with perception.
Perception. Ooh, going a little different. How about a 21?
Nice.
Dang, you're rolling like a pro out here.
I know. You don't hear or see anything in the woods this close to the village. However, you would know with your 8 that these are not the most shy creatures out there.
All right. I think we're good for now. We don't have to be too on our guard. It doesn't seem to be in the area right now. Crank's also kind of. He's gonna start walking toward back towards the center of the village. Not necessarily. Um, mm. Mostly just trying not to stick out too much. At least put some buildings in between him and this whatever might be out there.
Mm-hmm. Memento says, Memento happy. No one to hear about it.
Has it been verbally acknowledged by Memento that they hear voices to the party? I know we out of game know that, but do the characters know that? I'm trying to gauge how Giuseppe would be viewing.
I feel like Gray probably does, but
I know Memento
doesn't
has
have
made
much in his schoolhouse to help.
comments about it, but never explicitly said anything, if I remember correctly.
Okay. I was pretty sure that was the case. I just wanted to make sure.
I think there's been implication, but
She speaks hearing things.
Okay,
only
cool.
Gray knows.
Okay, awesome. I thought that was the case. I just wanted to make sure. Giuseppe just has like a very passive, like worried look at the little tiefling girl who seems to be talking about voices no one else can hear, and it's just like, that's her business. Stay in my lane. But like every time she says something, he's just like, I don't know if I want to hear these voices. Should I be worried?
As a warlock, you know all about hearing voices, yeah?
Oh, for sure. And he also, like, of the characters, has experienced similar things. But he's more just because there's been no conversation about it. He's like, I don't want to overstep, but that is concerning. Just like cautious thumbs up energy, like, I'm like a little worried about your energy, but not in a hostile way.
She says, you'd not be the first to worry about her hearing things.
But then yeah, I'd probably just follow old Crank Handle.
Okay. Going back to town?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to do in town? It's probably been pretty much an entire day since you got here. Though it's hard to tell with the sky being still.
How long had the rest of the carriage ride taken?
So it left at midnight, and you should have been arriving somewhere around 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Did we potentially get a long rest then?
From the carriage ride?
Well,
yeah.
It was also interrupted in the middle
there
of
was
the
a
combat.
Oh, well, that's what I'm sorry. My asking was meant for like that after the combat. How much time?
Oh, that probably happened at like 3 in the morning. So a short rest, yes.
Okay.
Long rest, no.
Gotcha.
Okay. That is good enough for me to know, since then that means I have my spell slot back.
Because yeah, warlocks
Yay,
are good for
warlock
that, but
stuff.
I don't know that I get anything.
I was also gonna say,
I was about to say,
don't know
isn't
if
rage
this
a
applies to
short
Crank
rest?
Handle, but I'm only a 4-hour rest is all I need.
I believe rage is a long rest. It looks like.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, as an auto gnome, technically, I suppose my long rest is only 6 hours, but it still would have been far short.
Yeah. The dead thing that I am, I only need 4. So I didn't know where you landed on it as well. Half alive.
Is there anything else you would like to do in town?
I feel like the wind's pointing towards the mountains.
Probably rest for the morning, though.
That's fair.
Or the relative morning, yeah.
Memento would like to be nowhere near the forest. You are surrounded by forest. I'm sorry.
Church is in the middle of town, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if anything else needs to be done.
Hey, can I be the guy to call bathroom intermission again?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We can take a, we
Yeah.
can take a 10-minute
I
break
was about to
there.
say, I'd been wondering about that as well.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 9 o'clock now, or 9:07. Shall we meet back at, say, would 9:15 be too short, or 9:20?
9:15 should be fine for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
That
meet back
works.
at 9:15. Hopefully my internet doesn't go out this time like it did last time.
Chat, I'm going to run
Yeah.
a couple ads while
Yeah.
we're on our break. I'll be right
I
back.
knocked on wood for you.
Okay. I will be right back. Do you need to go outside? Is that why you've been screaming at me? Come on. Yeah, I know. Come on.
I don't know when it'll happen, but one of these days, I'm gonna throw that gnome, that auto gnome, not the poor librarian. No.
I would be upset if you threw the librarian.
Same. I would be upset at myself, honestly. He doesn't understand like social rules and stuff, hence the book deal. But he's not like a malicious person. Some things he may just genuinely not give a shit about, like some concepts that society has. Doesn't make sense to him. Like, for instance, paying for food. Hence why he hunted for stew in the morning, because he doesn't understand why people use the shiny rock for food when you can just hunt for food. Oh, the anti-Jeff gifs are just diabolical. I gotta take a screenshot of that. I clicked out of it at the right time for a great screenshot for it to just pause. That was where I clicked off, and it it was right there in that one frame.
I come back to gifs of Hulk beating the shit out of Jeff.
Yep. Yep. The curb one was. That one was coming.
Me some fucking Cheetos.
So Crank does have an intelligence of 13, so I kind of figured checking town records might be at least an in-character thing to do.
Something about Ragdoll Jeff. It's really funny.
God. Someone made the hammer ragdoll Jeff. That's wild.
Oh, right. So Jaden, I'm sure you've probably seen, I've been playing a shit ton of Elden Ring Night Rain, and it is possibly my second favorite of the Souls-like games.
What's your
Only
first?
because Bloodborne.
Oh.
Just aesthetically, I love Bloodborne, and the fact that it's more of a offense focus than defense focus lets me get into it a little bit better.
Fair.
Which some of the characters in Night Rain are those hyper aggressive ones that I like using.
Fair.
I still haven't tried Sekiro yet. I don't even have it, actually. Yeah, I think the only Dark Souls game I'm missing is the first one. I've played a little bit of 2. I've played a little bit of 3. I've played a bit of Bloodborne. Haven't really touched Elden Ring. And I've got, I think, over... How many hours in Night Rain do I have now? 30?
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, that sounds like such a pain to go through. And 100% all of the Souls likes. Holy shit.
I realized as soon as we started that all of my dice were in the living room, except for my one little baby set.
Nice.
Yeah, baby.
I've got a couple baby dice.
I have a little plush.
I keep them in a mind flayer's head.
Ooh, nice.
The little mind flayers. I actually think, Drew, did you get me this? I feel like you got me this. Right?
Oh,
I
I
don't know if
love
it's
it.
back.
Oh,
The mind flare head, did you give me this? I feel like you
That
got
is
me this.
so cool.
the hell?
I then put metal bits in it and made it more metal because I don't know. I just felt like I had them and I did it.
No, I gave you
Oh.
the
That sounds like
the beholder?
pain.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I was
okay,
the
okay.
beholder.
Gotcha. I knew you
Like-
gave me one of them. I just couldn't remember which one.
I don't know what happened, but it switched my audio device right when I went to respond to you, and it was all of a sudden playing out of my speakers, and I was like, wait, what?
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, and here, because I haven't actually looked at all of them, I not only have my mini dice. Holy shit, this thing holds so much. I also have my unique set of dice, which are ass. These kinds of dice are ass. I hate them. But they're like potion bottle,
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
those,
like
yeah.
shaped and stuff, and like a rod.
Kiefer had a set that were
Got
all
like a
conical,
cool.
or no, they
like
were
diamond.
cylindrical dice.
Jesus.
All of them are cylinders.
Yeah, one of them is a. I think this one was the
It
most
looked a lot
highlight
like
dice.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were
'Cause
yeah,
this is
like
a
a little
nice
more
scroll.
gem-like.
Um,
All right,
but
you
yeah,
guys
But
yeah,
ready?
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Ye-
But then I
Ready?
have my tiny dice.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I am ready.
Okay. I'm about to switch over as soon as my laptop wakes up. Okay. And we're back and unmuted. Pictures get
Hi,
screwed up.
chat.
No. I don't care about my Norton expiring.
Is this real, chat? Chat, is this real?
All right. What are you doing now? You have just explored the town of Elsewood. Is there anything else you would wish to do?
Where do all the people sleep? Did we get the vibe they slept in their shops, or
Probably in the
The
houses
few
that are
people that are
destroyed.
left do have houses, though they are very old and
they're just living in the disheveled houses?
yeah.
Okay. I was just curious. You'd said they're all like broken down and stuff, so I wasn't sure like how broken down.
They're still partially livable. Like there'll be like a hole in the roof or maybe part of a window missing, something like that.
Okay, okay.
Party wish to do.
I feel like we were
Well, I'm not
Thinking
sure if
about-
there's anything at this point.
resting up and then heading to the mountains.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
So
you
yeah,
just
my
take a
vote
long
was
rest at
for
the inn?
yeah, just doing a long rest now.
Okay, yeah. The tabaxi will give you room. Go. Nah, don't worry about paying me. Make sure you're safe.
Before we head down, though, I think just out of curiosity, because the church I feel like is probably going to be the tallest building here, right? He's going to climb to the top of it and have a look around, see if he can see any clear, obvious structures or hear anything off in the distance. Just try to like get a better view of everything around.
Make an athletics check to see if you can get to the top of the church first.
Okay.
Be too fat, it crumble.
I was gonna say he may or may not also be doing a King Kong impression up there.
It is like a disheveled church, so I figured as much. He does have the climbing speed currently, though. That was the one I started with. Would be a 16.
16. Yeah, you're able to navigate your way up the church. You feel a couple spots with your foot that feel like rotted. Careful not to step there. But you can, for the most part, walk across the roof as long as you're standing on beams. And not
Yeah, he'd
just
still be
the-
like actively seeking the structurally strongest parts, and he'd probably still be relatively low to the ground. He probably
Yeah.
wouldn't be standing upright on them. He's spreading out his body weight a bit.
Mhm.
Are we watching from the ground?
Yeah, you guys probably would have, I would imagine, seen him heading towards it and starting to climb up. And then perception check, I take it.
Yes.
This dice likes to roll, Jesus. That would be a 17.
17. You don't really hear anything. You do, however, see off way in the distance, up in the mountain. There appears to be what looks like almost very edge of a castle that's hidden behind a cliff.
Okay. I'm gonna make note of the sort of direction and the general. Obviously, from this view, you can't tell the specifics of how the ground is, but maybe like where the different bends around like the hills would maybe be to lead up to that. But then I'll just slowly climb my way back down.
Okay. I'll let you use the same athletic check. I'm not.
Sweet. In that case too, if we can use the same one, he might just like do the sick grab one claw and slide down the side if he could.
Let's see, what did you roll?
It was a 16.
I don't think that's really 16 worthy.
I'll roll again.
Okay, see if you roll higher. If you roll higher, we'll take that one.
That was not higher. That was a 12. Or no,
Okay. No.
13, sorry.
No, you climb down like a normal.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Honestly, I was waiting for the
The
second
weather-
roll to be a nat 1.
Oh, that
I
would've
was
been
I
fun.
I was willing to take that risk. I was willing to take that risk.
The weather vane breaks and he looks at the ground Wile E. Coyote style.
Yeah, he'll just climb back down then and
Okay.
make his way back.
Okay. Yep. The tabaxi will give will give you all room for the and you guys get a long rest.
Woo. Back up to full.
While you are resting, have all of you that do sleep have dreamless strange.
Do what now?
Dreamless what?
Dreamless
sleep.
sleep.
Okay.
Okay.
Cray's okay with that after the last one.
Giuseppe's not supposed to have dreams at all, so no dreams is good night's sleep. If there are dreams, something's gone wrong because he can't become unconscious. He's immune to it.
Exactly. I mean, Crank kind of goes into power save mode, but he's still paying attention to what the world is doing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's one of those where if we go to sleep, something has gone very, very wrong.
Yeah. All right. You awake in the next morning, refreshed, or as refreshed as you can be in this spooky town. And I imagine you all head downstairs.
Were we all in the
Here's the-
same room, or were
each
there
got
multiple
separate
rooms? Okay.
Yeah.
If we were all in the
Um,
same, I would have asked to roll a chance that I woke up gnawing on one of Giuseppe's bones, but we're good.
Do it anyway. You could have sleepwalked into his room.
Nah, I don't necessarily think he necessarily sleepwalks, but he maybe does that dog thing where he's like kicking his legs a little bit sometimes, and
If it
Read
were more
yourself a
populated in,
newspaper.
Crank might feel a little bit guilty about taking up an entire room and not even using it.
It's
Yeah.
fine. He offered you the room.
Yeah, that's why I'm not so broken up about this time.
I appreciated the room, but I did still sleep in Sabbath's bed.
You caught him while he was eating.
All right.
Listen, mister, that comment was almost as spicy as those Cheetos.
All right, you all head downstairs. The tabaxi is not there at the moment. You guys are all alone in. You can discuss your plans for the day.
Well, I suppose we have our heading. I don't know if anybody needs anything else before we set out.
Gray probably signs to Jaden castle and points in general direction that he saw the castle in.
Memento nod.
Well, I'm sure you've all figured this out by now, but I have somebody I need to find, and while I appreciate any help you could provide, I'm going anyway. And with that, you just kind of set about doing what I need to do to get ready to go.
Okay. What do you wish to do? Memento says castle better than forest.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, I suppose it won't get rained on.
I am interested
game
to meet
no.
this count guy.
Chocula?
If he has been alive as long as I think he has, he's probably single right now.
What Amber didn't
Aha.
realize was Drew came
He's a
into this
gold
game
digger.
assuming this was the dating sim D&D game.
Yep.
I would never.
He does that with every D&D game.
It's
True.
only most.
He
Jane says
flirted.
we don't
He
happen to be in the
aggressively
skin
flirted as
category.
Fishbone.
Oh my
Not
God.
frequently, but
All right.
You should see me when I play a bard.
one of
Just
these days.
Default
I was about to
naked.
say that not being a bar was the only reason I didn't talk to the blacksmith.
Are you ready to go? Is there anything else
Yes.
you wish to town?
Gray would maybe head over to the blacksmith with his axes. He's got like a whetstone, but there's only so much he can do with it.
Mhm.
Simply, but he tries to make with how like eerie the place is. He does try to make his presence aware as he's stepping up to it, and is going to just sort of pull out his great axe and set it down on a table there for her to look at potentially, assuming she's there.
She is there. It looks like she's just woken up. Just entered her shop. You need me to look at that for you?
Hmm.
She'll pick it up. Please with it. And she will take it over to the grinding stone and she'll just like grind it down, sharpen it up a little bit for you. You're
Gotcha.
going up to the
I
castle, are
imagine.
you?
Okay, yeah, go on.
He looks at the others and sort of nods.
Can you do me a favor? My brother Galrog, he went up there, and he hasn't back down. He went with the villagers that were going to go talk to the count, but he hasn't returned yet.
You said Galrog?
Yes. Memento watches practice a bit with her rusty and worn gear.
Did we happen to catch the blacksmith's name?
You did not.
Oh, okay.
Gray sort of looks a little bit solemn and sort of nods.
Thank you. Appreciate that words. I'm
He's
sorry.
also going to pull out a gold piece and set it down.
No, please don't. Money is here. I don't need it.
He sort of at the money is useless thing. He sort of agrees in a like a little bit more matter of factly, like, yeah, it's useless. It's just a grunt, but it's very much a yeah, it's useless. You're probably gonna do more with it than I will. As a like, that's his general demeanor. There is he's setting it down.
Yeah, she'll take it and thank and pockets it. Goes back to the iron.
There we go. Took me a second to find the money again. Up to copper earlier. But yeah, otherwise he would just take his axe after and
Okay.
head back to the group.
Yep.
And he's just gonna be like, he's gonna be slowly, very under his breath, just sort of be trying to like phonetically remember Galrog.
Mm-hmm.
names are probably fairly slow for him to remember and catch right, and some of the phonetics are probably not always easily captured. But he's just sort of like gal, gal, galrog, and is just sort of like practicing it a little bit.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to do in the village? Yes, you two. Crank and Memento can, in fact, barring. Practice.
Just the best time.
Yeah, of course.
Does Crank have legs, or does he potentially have
Yes,
like
I have
tracks or
legs.
something?
I have legs.
I like to like imagine the sprinting mechanic is potentially like you having like tracks and. It was just a very fun image in my mind that I conjured this past week.
Not saying they're off the table, but right now he does not have tracks.
Gotcha.
Tank mode activated.
Maybe if he gets boots.
Oh
of
God,
sprinting
he's
or something,
Bastion.
That's what it'll be.
All right. Ready to go?
Yeah.
Ready to go. All right. Head towards the trail. It appears to be overgrown. One is very, very long time, besides on foot. And even then, grass is starting to come up where the trail used to be. It's a little hard to find it in some spots, but you manage to find it through the tree. I need survival checks from whoever's leading. Who would be in front?
I feel like since Gray had spotted the direction where the castle was, he'd at least be up there.
Okay.
Even if he's not like fully leading the charge, if someone else also wants to roll.
Well, if he's going to be leading, then Crank's going to be right behind him.
Okay.
So yeah, Crank seems to be like the one who really wants to get up there.
So my survival, I don't know if you're also rolling or if you're wanting to pass it to me all the way. I just got a 10.
10. All right.
I can go. Okay. That's a
Oh.
17 straight. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but it's going good.
All right, with a 17, you are able to find your way along the trail, even though it is starting to get overgrown and to be almost impossible to see. You walk through a very dark, dense forest full of
What kind of trees? You cut out there.
pine. Sorry.
Pine tree. Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I thought
pine.
you said. I just wasn't sure. My lip
Yep.
reading ain't always the best.
It turns out Cranky is an autognome with a set of very specific skills.
We gotta go find Ponyo.
I will
It's
find
my
you.
favorite Taken movie.
I will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Memento stands very close to Grace, still very wary of what lies in the forest.
Yeah, and that's why he got a 10, because he's halfway like half of his attention is on Val. Narratively, that works. Yep.
There
That's
you
great.
go. So you walk for a few hours, taking breaks here and there. But
I assume we're ascending.
yes, you are going up the mountain. It is probably about noon right now. However, it is still dark out. And I need perception checks.
I was going to say, just to ask, do we ever find a clearing where we can look back down the mountain?
Yeah, you'll see like little spots where you can see you're like walking along a cliff, and so you're above the pines that you had just passed.
Is this everyone perception?
Everyone perception.
Per
That's a natural one.
Seption. 15.
15.
Mm-hmm.
Nat 20.
Oh man.
So he opens up
Sometimes
his
somebody
mind's
doesn't.
eye or whatever.
Yeah,
I-
Sabbath is like pushing forward. I
Bro,
think you like pushes
all-
the branch back and it smacks me in the face.
Giuseppe,
got a
what
natural
did
one.
you get?
I got 10.
10. Okay.
The menu is looking
Um,
out for me tonight.
Who is above a 15?
Above or at 15?
At or above?
I was at 15.
Okay. And then Sabbath got a 20.
Yes.
Okay. You two, especially Sabbath, would hear a strange sound coming from the trees above you. Like, sort of a hard to describe sound, almost like someone threw a wet rag at a wall and it slid down. Sort of like a slopping sound. Coming from
Given
the
what we, I was gonna say, given what we saw in the cemetery, Crank's gonna spin about and shout above us.
it
Gray's
seems-
immediately on edge, is trying to look, but
Yeah. You don't see anything. It sounded like it came from ahead of you, slightly, and up in the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you guys would like to do? Any reaction?
I'm surprised Homeboy ain't start blasting. Just a quick little desk pop into the air.
I thought about it.
Hmm.
Believe me, I
You
thought
need me
about
to?
it.
I look at, I honestly, that's what I do. I look at Sabbath and I just point up with a little finger gun like, pew pew? Like, we blasting? We're just the Boondock Saints Warlock style.
Jesus.
Crank is gonna try and move a little ahead to peer around the trail, staying out of the line of fire.
Okay. Memento tenses and immediately prepares. All right. So you're looking up towards the trees.
Mhm.
Make an investigation.
Investigation.
Yes.
Holy shit, that's a third one.
ingestive vision.
God damn.
23.
Oh my god. Yeah. You'll hear that slopping sound one more time. And as you look towards it, you'll see something green kind of shove into a tree, like a crack in a tree real quick.
Somewhat quietly, but enough that everyone else can hear, I'll say, there, and gesture towards the tree.
So hypothetically, what would happen
no,
if
no, leave it
two
up to the
Eldritch
artillery.
blasts were
Yeah,
to
that's
hit
what
that
I was
tree?
just thinking. It's like, so we blast, right?
Because we know where to aim now.
we, yeah, we blast.
Who rolled above a 10 on that perception?
I think both of
Not
us.
me.
I had the nat 20, so.
Yeah.
And
Anyone
I got
who
a
rolled
10.
above a 10, you would hear that same slopping sound coming from behind you as well. Now.
Oh shit.
Oh, snap.
Can I like flip around and try and spot the fucker?
Yep. Investigation check.
Come on, Mama needs a new pair of shoes. Ooh, that's a spicy one. How does the letter 10 sound to you?
A 10. You heard it
My
for a
favorite
brief
letter.
moment, but when you turn around, it is silent. Do not see a thing.
Well,
But you'd
Crank
need
at least is going to keep
eardrums.
the one he knows about insight.
I'm gonna stay facing the other direction, kind of cover the bases.
Okay.
My little senses are tingling.
On the off chance that they're capable of organized thought, Crank's going to call out now. We don't mean anybody any harm. We're just passing through. If you'd like to speak, we're more than capable of doing that, and it doesn't have to come to a fight.
I don't think these things are
Ooh.
sentient.
Ooh.
Possibly not,
Hey, there's
but it doesn't
levels
hurt to
of
try.
sentience.
Let's roll for it. Okay. You would hear in response a strange, almost guttural screaming sound with occasional consonants thrown in. It's impossible to make out unless you are speaking their
What's the language?
deep speech.
Nope.
Well,
Closest
I
I got is
definitely don't know
abyssal.
that.
Has deep speech?
I don't think any of us do.
Nope.
Oh no. And to top it all off, that screaming sound you heard
Oh.
was
Ooh.
coming from your right.
Who's right? Giuseppe's or the collective parties?
The collective party.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank
so
you.
it understands the language though. Is it within 30 feet of us?
Yes. Yes, it
I-
is.
I'm gonna say telepathically. Do you? We are non-hostile. If you are non-hostile, because I can speak to them and they can speak to me, so long as it understands one language. That's the
Oh,
awakened mind.
So it can speak to you as well, as long as
Yes.
you
Yeah.
both. Okay.
One of my favorite things about telepathy in D&D.
Nice.
I talked
okay.
to an old one, and so now I can talk to anybody.
Nice.
So long as we're within 30 feet.
So it'll actually respond back to you, and all it does is just go, food.
Yo, guys. These jabronis are just hungry. Do we have food we can give them?
Well, unfortunately, I don't carry much.
He'd probably Gray would toss his ration pack out.
I would kind of like open the ration and toss it in the direction that I think maybe.
Memento dishes her rations.
Cat, you are in the way.
I kind of telepathically say back, does this work? Food question mark?
Fresh food.
Fresh food.
Do rations count as fresh?
It's edible. Um, guys, they want fresh food.
Daily?
You hear a twig snap from Giuseppe's direction.
Quick, Giuseppe, snap back at him.
Kind of like cracks one of his bones to match the snap noise. I don't know, team.
Okay, so just to break the standoff, Craig's gonna motion to everybody else to see if we can just kind of shuffle on up the path.
I'll like slowly walk backwards, still facing the direction I think the thing might be in.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, Gray's probably lower to the ground now and is kind of looking towards the sides and is trying to also back to the center of the group and keep an eye out on that perimeter best he can as they slowly try to inch.
You guys are. Memento breathes quickly but tries to remain composed, trying to stay close to the group.
Gray's hand is on his axe though. He's getting prepared.
Move along.
Mhm.
You move past the tree that you saw the strange thing enter. Every once in a while, as you walk, you hear that slapping sound again of the wet rag against. But they don't seem to be attacking quite. Whatever it is, though it is.
No, it's what? You correct that again.
Sorry, though it is hungry.
Well, I hope it likes dried meat and hardtack.
Truth be told, if it's
Giuseppe,
my
are you
rations,
still
it's
facing
mostly dried
backwards?
meat.
Oh,
Personally, I don't think. Well, Crank isn't letting them out of sight. He's just kind of walking to the side, more or less, keeping an eye.
Giuseppe, were you still looking backwards?
Yes. Yeah, I would say that I'm just like kind of trusting that they're right behind me as I back up.
There, you would see as you're walking away and you kind of round a corner where the rations are almost out of sight, you would see something swing down from a tree, grab them, and pull them back up.
Okay, guys, they took the rations, so maybe sated? Maybe I don't know.
Fucking Ewoks. Terrifying.
You would hear that strange screaming sound later.
Maybe it's happy screaming.
I'm sorry, was that a few minutes later?
A few moments later.
Moments.
Okay, so I know they aren't necessarily beasts like me. However, what are the chances that he can not necessarily understand in like words, but maybe understand the tone of the different screeches? Like
Animal
if it animal handling?
Yep.
Okay. Because I just feel like maybe he'd be able to tell a war cry, a rallying, we're still
Yeah,
hungry,
are
let's
they-
go after him, that kind of thing.
Are they screeching in
God
E
damn,
major or B
4.
flat?
No, I don't. I ain't got
No.
nothing. They're too alien even for me.
Yep, this thing is unlike anything I've ever heard.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think once we round the corner, it's Crank's gonna say, "Well, I think we should probably just get a move on and try and hurry on down the trail."
As you move along the trail, you still hear that strange sound now in front of you again. And again, off. It seems like everywhere you move, that sound too.
Do we want to pick up the pace a little bit?
I think
I feel like Gray would be starting to walk a little bit faster. And would maybe start like because he's low to the ground, the occasional like his hands touch the ground kind of to keep himself going a little bit more, just a little bit quicker.
Like a gorilla,
Um,
kind of.
Almost like, yeah, not quite as ripped, but like he's starting to get to that. He's not at like a full sprint just yet, but he's like he's a little bit anxious with these noises. Doesn't know what these creatures are, and his own pace is definitely increasing ever so slightly.
looking ahead, can I see possibly a clearing up ahead or a clear spot or whatever if we need to stand?
Thick forest all around you.
Hmm.
Right, adjust my laptop quick.
As we're hustling along, I think at some point Giuseppe would say to himself, but also lightly to the group, "You know, I heard a story about a forest of mimics once." Just hearing the slopping noises.
Without deviating from his forward walk, Crank turns his head and gives Giuseppe a flat look.
Surprisingly, despite it being one of Gray's biggest fears, he does not know them by the name mimics, so he does not necessarily react to that one. But if he knew what you were talking about, he would be even more extremely anxious right now.
Memento looks as if on the verge of panic. Hear one final slapping sound against the tree directly above Crank Candle. And that scream comes from crevice that is inside of.
Beside of who?
I'm sorry?
Beside who?
Above you. The tree directly above you.
Right, the tree
Inside
above,
a
and then crevice
crevice.
beside some.
Yeah, there's
think
a
it's- yeah.
scream that comes from the crevice right above you.
Okay. Okay.
That is where we will end it for today. It is now clock, pretty much. I don't
Okay.
want to start a combat, 5
Yeah.
minutes
Yeah.
before we're supposed to stop.
Yeah,
Perfectly
that's fair.
fine.
That's fair.
Well, there we go. Session 2 completed. You have found the village of Elsewood, and you are starting to make your way up to the Castle Blyre.
We also somehow found a shit ton of nat 20s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many nat 20s.
Yeah,
Oh my
holy
god.
cow.
And they were
As
all
a-
crank handle.
No,
point of,
no, I had one.
He had one.
Upkeep
He saw real
potentially,
good.
Would it be easier for the next session if we all rolled initiative now, so we had it all set ahead of time?
I don't know if I can do that with D&D Beyond. I mean, I can just make notes of it, I guess, in my phone. So that way I can just type it in. Blessed be the outer god residing over the town.
Yeah, because I don't
Okay.
necessarily know how the
Yeah,
D&D
go ahead
Beyond
and roll
tracker
for
works,
initiative, and I'll type these in when we start the next session.
Okay.
Let's see who goes in what order.
We love that -1 in initiative.
12.
Yeah, I got middle of the road 10.
I got an 8 because I'm getting slimed.
Jaden got a 5.
Okay. Drew, what did you get?
A 9.
Okay. I shall keep these.
Not like the last
Too
one.
scared to be swift, says Jaden.
Damn.
Yes.
So the Warlock boys get to go back to back.
For real.
That's gonna be a lot of Eldritch blasting.
Yep.
No, first it's gonna be Magic Missile, then Eldritch Blast.
Oh, fair enough.
I might feel like it's Electric Boogie Woogie. Hit him with some of that first level spell action, some Witch Bolt. Who's to say? Maybe I'll use Dissonant Whispers, drive him mad.
Fair.
Go
'Cause, you know,
crazy.
Maybe they're
bitch.
already mad.
If I'm going to
Tee.
do some damage, I at least want to make sure I'm going to be doing the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair point.
So
If
the
I
fair
land
only-
the first.
The only time I rolled below a 13 was just now with initiative.
Yeah, you
Wow.
were rolling like a maniac tonight.
Yeah.
That
Uh,
includes
hopefully
2
that
nat
luck-
20s plus the. Yeah.
You know what? I bet that was the residual luck from the first session when you kept fucking missing attacks against that wolf.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Finally came back around.
Yeah, the dice are making up for it.
Oh, I flattened the wolf when it tried to get away, so it's all good.
It still took like 5 turns.
Oh, yeah. But still.
Took a hot minute. Alright. Good night, everybody. This was a fun session. We will be back next Monday, hopefully at 7, if I can get out of work on time.
You mean 6? Or
I work at 7s now, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
She changed my
Yeah.
schedule, and it's very upsetting.
I forgot
okay.
we started a little bit on the late end. This might be.
Yep.
Anyways,
Yep, so
chat.
we will be having
We'll
3-hour sessions instead of 4-hour sessions because
That's
people want to
okay.
get off.
be in the fishy though. We'll probably be back on Thursday with more Borderlands,
It's
Ooh.
true.
as long as my brain doesn't explode.
Yes.
Just hoping.
And maybe me and the captain will be doing shenanigans on Saturday. Just gotta see how that pans out.
Might do a small pop-up stream tomorrow. I don't know. But until next time, chat. This is the captain signing off.
All right.
Good
Say
night,
goodnight
chat.
to chat, guys.
Have a good night,
Love
chat.
ya.
Good night, chat.
Goodbye, everyone. We will see you next Monday, and I don't know when I'll be. Hopefully, I'll be streaming video games between then, but for sure next Monday. Good night.